So when you're using a computer, every single type of program has a type or extension that determines what a program does or how it behaves when you open it. By default, most operating systems are hiding the file extensions, but you can follow these steps to show them. As you progress through this class, you're probably going to encounter a few different types of files you might not be familiar with, so we're just going to go over what each type of file and extension that we want you to be aware of is. The first is called a drive. Most common drive is your C drive, and a lot of computers nowadays have a D data drive as backup. The drive is your highest level when it comes to file organization. Anything that's stored on a computer or network is stored somewhere on a drive. And again, when you're using university computers, make sure you're saving on our network iDrive instead of a C drive or desktop. Because if you're saving on our iDrive at the university, it will be available to you anywhere on campus and at home through net storage. Whereas if you're just saving on the C drive, it's only available on one computer. Next up, we have folders or directories. Folders are containers that will hold all of your different files. For this class, we're going to suggest that you make one CS100 folder and then don't make any other folder again for this class. Because while folders are great and while sorting your different assignments into different folders is also nice for organization, having too many folders and not linking them properly is one of the biggest problems that students encounter when they are trying to submit their work. So again, just have one CS100 folder and just place everything in that. You can zip a folder, which will make it take up less space and make it attachable for email. If you're ever having trouble with your assignments, right-click the folder, click Send To, click Zip, and then send that folder to help100@uregina.ca. And that is how you can send an assignment if you're having trouble with your copy program. The most important file type we're going to be dealing with in this class is .html, or hypertext markup language. When you open an HTML file, a web browser will launch the file, determine the appearance of the page through things called HTML tags or instructions, which we'll learn about later. And then it will just display text in different sizes, colors, all sorts of stuff like that. But in order for a file to behave like a web page, it has to have the web page extension. It has to be saved as a web page. So any .html file, if it's not .html, if it's .txt, it will not work properly. So that's one thing you want to be keeping track of. Next up, we have cascading style sheets. And again, we'll learn a lot more about these later. But basically a CSS extension means that it's a style sheet that will color a web page. It's not a web page itself. It's something you attach or link to web pages to affect them. It's important to just keep them distinct from your HTML page because they are two different things. Then we have our images. The different extensions on images such as PNG, GIF, and JPEG, what those do is they change how the image is encoded in your computer. Different extensions take up different amounts of space and have different qualities. In this class, it doesn't matter what type of picture you have. What will matter is that you know what type of picture it has, because when you're attaching an image to a page, you'll need to include that information. So we just want to make you aware of that right now. You don't need to have a specific type of image. You just need to know what type of the image is. And lastly, we have spreadsheets. Spreadsheets are pretty straightforward. They're usually .xlsx, and they usually have a spreadsheet icon when you see them in your folder, usually an E for Excel. You double click it, usually it will launch a spreadsheet file. Xlsx is the newest version. Sometimes the old versions don't launch properly, but that shouldn't be a problem in this class because we should all probably be using up-to-date versions of Excel or the online version. So